What is it? William Hovey Smith, 2024.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And today, we're going to do something a little different. This is a what is it kind of exercise. And here we have the first clue. It's in a piece of vinyl, and when you open it, there are two Allen wrenches there. And you pull it out, whoa. And it is not a knife, certainly. It is some sort of mechanism for something. What kind of something is it? There's a hole through it, front and back. What?
The second clue is a piece of apparatus that I brought at the same time. It has a piston, kinda. Moves around. Well, hadn't been used for a while, but it's all there. Still good. And what does that have to do with this? Nowhere close to fitting. Third clue. 2 cartridges. Brass, bottlenecked, good size, and significantly rimmed. Final clue. 22 long rifle rimfire ammunition. And finally, all of these are used in the same gun. What gun is that? Support this channel by buying my outdoor books, business books, and novels and recommending them to your local libraries. My outdoor books are varied, as you can see here. Perhaps the most popular is Backyard Deer Hunting, and this is a book for the early hunter, or those who want to get into hunting as adults, but really never had the real good introduction to it. This provides that, and not only does it cover deer, but it also covers turkeys, wild hogs, and small game. I have a series of inexpensive e-books on muzzleloading, one of which is buying used muzzleloading guns. My business books include Create Your Own Job Security. Now, this is for someone now in business and in middle management who's afraid they may be outsized or whatever, replaced by AI perhaps. And this encourages them to actually think about and start their own mini companies while they are still employed, so they have something already under development to fall back on. My next business book is for the more general population. Make your own job anytime, anywhere, at any age, and it means exactly that. If you want to know how to earn money as a teenager, well, I tell you how to do that. Or how to do the same thing as before, that is, make another job while you're at work, or improve your position at your present job, or in older age, find something fun and productive to do. My last business book is Real Wealth, How to Obtain and Keep It. And these are for those people just entering the business market and considering what wealth really is. My novels include Until Death Do You Part, An American Family Meets Her Sicilian Cousins. In this novel, a family of Sicilian origin who lives in Louisiana goes to Sicily, and when they arrive on Monday, they are informed that their 2 sons will be married to women they've never heard of on Friday, or none will leave the island alive. In the Goldfarb Chronicles, we have a family from Detroit. They have a difficult pregnancy and delivery due to a genetic disease, and move into a new house in the middle of the worst snowstorm Detroit has seen in decades, and are trapped there for 4 days with both sets of in-laws, a Syrian refugee family, 2 movers, and a pregnant dog. Then 2 guys go on an adventure in West Texas where they're kidnapped by bandits and held for ransom, and ultimately recovered with the aid of one of their wives. Finally, in Brewster County law, members of the same family go on trial for capital murder, and they will be set free, they will be shot, or they will be hanged, and all this will be completed in 4 days.
Well, those of you who have had experience with the military or with European hunting probably have already guessed. What all of these go in is a drilling, a 3-barreled gun. 2 shotgun tubes and 16 gauge on top, and an 8x57 rimmed JRS cartridge on the bottom. Now the JRS cartridge is a rimmed version of the first 8mm Mauser, which had an elongated round nose bullet. And German hunters were a conservative lot. Well, hunters are generally, but so in Germany. And they didn't trust the newfangled Spitzer kind of pointy things on game. They preferred the round nose. Plus, being a rimmed cartridge, it would not fit in military firearms, which for control purposes in Europe was considered desirable, that the civilian cartridges not be the same as the military cartridges. And, as said, 3 barrels, bloom, bloom, bloom. Fired with 2 triggers. Well, as an interesting little bit of mechanism. When you push what would appear to be the safety here on top, like yay, the rear sight appears, and the front trigger will then fire the rifle barrel. Blow. Boom. So. Now, this gun does not look like it did when the GI brought it home in his duffel bag after World War II, which is most likely how it got here. When I got it, stock was pretty well, sort of ratty and battered. And one thing about the drilling stock, it's very thin here in the wrist and very easily broken. And frankly, I broke the stock. It fell over and went crunk. And well, okay, had to replace it. At that time, Bishop, over on the West Coast, would restock drillings. Yeah, they would. And although it was expensive, I did get a new stock on it, as well as a beaver tail style fore-end to replace the rather skinny fore-end of the original. So this gun and I went on many adventures. It traveled with me from Georgia to North Carolina to Alaska, several places in Alaska through a whole decade, one end of the Brooks Range to the other, out the Aleutians, several spots in the Alaska Range. And after the season was over, I'd go over and hunt in some duck country somewhere. And this included the Minto Flats and the Chickaloon Flats. And so we did use this gun fairly much. Also hunted with it in Arizona, in Montana, in Nevada. Took most species of grouse with it, pheasant with it, duck with it, geese with it, and so on and so on and so on, as well as squirrels and rabbits, and game back here at home. Now the reason I got this gun, and it was attractive to me, and is still attractive for hunters in the Southeast, is this is one gun that you can go out with now, this time of year, in January, and shoot any variety of legal game. You can take dove, you can take quail, you can take duck, you can take geese, you can take rabbits, you can take squirrels, you can take raccoons, you can shoot deer, and so on and so on and so on. The creeps, crawls, runs, or flies, yes, you can shoot it with this gun. And even using the little rimbar tube, which I frankly have not experimented with very much. I remember firing some shots with it decades ago, but not really since. And I'm going to shoot the rest of these cartridges too, and show you what this old gun will do. Well, in fading light, we're going to have to abbreviate our shooting. And I've set up at 50 yards. And the first thing we're going to shoot is a buckshot load. Now, I don't really recommend buckshot at 50 yards, particularly not 16 gauge buckshot. And this is number 1 buck, and it's out of the improved cylinder barrel. I had the barrel relieved on the first to shoot improved cylinder, and this is the safety here, the greenish style safety. It is scattered about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 down there that I can tell, and I believe that's about it. And that hole is about 25 caliber. This is an extractor gun. Many drillings are. Now, some of the more expensive were ejector guns, but yeah, this is an extractor gun. And this is going to be shooting the improved cylinder barrel just over the rib. definitely more recoil. At 50 yards, that would likely have been a miss right there. I think it would have probably gone under the deer. I'm going to shoot another one with the same barrel to see if we do get to about the same spot. Now the rifle round, this is the original normal round in the rifle barrel. Different kind of recoil, sharper, and let's go see what it did. The paper has shifted on me a little bit. This was a second rifle slug. Yeah, that one would have hit deer. So with the slugs, maybe a 50-50 chance of hit. This clean 30 caliber hole here, that's where the rifle hit. And the point of aim was here, so that was high. Okay. Now this gun has cocking indicators on it, and this particular one here is down, meaning this lock has been fired. As I cock, you'll see it pop up again. Again, hand extract the rifle round. We'll try our reload here. In the 1970s. Probably about 73, I think. Let's see. How did the gun do? Well, 2 shots here, a little high, and a little right of the point of aim, so aim low left and you'll be on him at 50 yards. And both the reload and the factory ammunition shot identically so far as I can tell, so that's good. The rifle slug barrels, about 50-50 chances of hits at 50 yards, I would think. And the buckshot load at 50 yards, no, I wouldn't use it all. Now they say, that is Remington says on the box, to shoot it out of the full choke barrel for better results. Well, that may or may not be so, I don't know. But I would never use buckshot at that range anyway. 25 caliber buckshot, if you're following up a wounded deer and you expect to jump him wounded in close range and thick cover, yeah, that's when that sort of stuff shines. Although I did kill my first deer with a 16 gauge and with buckshot, it was at about 30 yards, and I gave him both barrels. It didn't happen to be with this particular gun. It was a L.C. Smith double barrel. But this gun does good. Functions well, shoots well, just like it used to. And I'm well satisfied with it. Now, if you want one, these things are expensive. I just looked up Merkel's. They want $8,000 for one, you know. With engraving and fancy, I agreed, but that's a lot of money. There's a maker in this country who makes Rillings, 4-barrel guns, and he likes about $50,000 a copy. Well, when the Germans were allowed to remake guns and market them in the U.S. in the 1950s, These drillings were made again, and they were imported. Now, they were made usually in 20 and 12 gauge for the shotgun barrels, and in 7 millimeter for the rifle barrels as a rule. Most of them I've seen are in this range. And in good condition, used with scope sometimes and sometimes without, depending on the amount of graving and ornamentation. These were running about $3,000 or $4,000. Still expensive for a used gun, but considering what you would cost to make it today, yeah, if you want one, go get one, guy. Because the prices are not going to go down. So far as this gun is concerned, and similar ones that were brought home by GIs between the wars. Well, yeah, depending on the calibers, depending on the condition, you may be able to find one that's as in good a shape as this one and use it every day and use it for forever. I mean, these things were good, they were solidly made, and I have seldom had, well, I've never had any trouble with this one, and I've drug it all over North America, as you've heard. So, if you want one, yeah, used prices $3,000, $4,000, $4,500 depending on what accessories, maybe extra barrels. Yeah, some are sold with extra barrel sets. Some with extra rifle barrel sets, so you got a double gun and a drilling and so on and so on and so on. So there were all combinations of these put together and sold. So, if you want one, start looking, guys, because you will have the handiest gun available for woodland hunting here in the southeastern U.S. Go out, shoot anything that moves, and have an appropriate caliber or gauge for it. The 16 gauge is sort of gone now, but I reload for it, and you can still buy 16 gauges. Now the 8x57 JRS, the rifle barrel, this cartridge is still made new. Norma is one source of it historically, and the other German makers will certainly have it. So if you find one in 8mm JRS, rimmed, yeah, you can go ahead and get it and find new cartridges for it, or you can do like I did and reload. Although be very careful about the diameter of the bullets that you buy. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.